I remember. So I want to see this mental breakdown again. So thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts on Chelsea getting hammered by Leicester City today?
No. But since we are the podcast of two halves, before we get into Umar's demise and his eventual meltdown, what we should briefly touch upon is how well Leicester actually played. Can we just briefly talk about that, lads? I think Leicester were great, though. I really admire what they're doing.
Man, honestly, I think Leicester are doing a City. They're just going under the radar, doing their thing, quietly getting results, and nobody gives a shit about them. But they're top of the league right now. Brendan Rodgers, top of the league.
Oh, why is
Have
that?
you seen this before?
No, I think I have. What are you talking about?
Yes,
you
we
of all
have.
people have.
I mean, he
I don't know
could
what
have
you're talking
stayed
about,
there if they hadn't slipped. Lost points against Palace.
oh God.
No, don't disrespect the best number 8 in the Premier League of all time like that.
Apologies, boys. It was a slip
Ladies
of the
and
tongue.
gentlemen,
Oh, I've done it
the
again.
Red Boy, the Red Boy has finally spoken.
Oh my days.
No, man. Fat Frank's in the
You know what,
bin.
it's funny.
Steven Gerrard all the way now.
Stevie G,
Yes.
Rangers Army.
The actual
No,
array
but-
that we want, right?
Honestly, but seriously, watching Leicester today, they give me City vibes. Like when you watch them play, with the ball and
man,
without
they're
the
so
ball,
organized.
it doesn't feel like they have 11 men. Like Albrighton, Harvey
Yeah.
Barnes, Maddison, Jamie Vardy, they're all everywhere. As soon as any player has the ball,
Tielemans as well.
they're on you. Tielemans as well, exactly.
To be honest,
Yeah, man.
they're not giving me as Manchester City vibes as much as they're giving me 18-19 Liverpool vibes. They only have one style of play, high energy, like that. What pressing do they call it? Geigen pressing.
Oh.
And they come at you. They just come at you, and they don't care about possession. They don't care about stats. They know only one way to play. However, what's very impressive is how Leicester have developed away from being so reliant on Jamie Vardy. Like today, Vardy was okay. He wasn't
He was.
the Jamie Vardy of old,
Honestly,
and they're getting
Vardy's-
golden.
This whole season, he's not been that clinical. Harvey Barnes has been banging the goals.
Oh
Maddison
yeah,
has
for
been
sure.
clinical.
Oh, Madison.
Madison, what a form he's been on in the last
What
couple
a
of
player,
games.
man. What a
We were just talking about him on last week's podcast, or not even last week's, the podcast couple of days ago, of how he should be mentioned in the same bracket as Grealish, since Grealish is mentioned so often, and Madison goes under the radar.
I think that's because Grealish plays for with all due respect to Aston Villa, he plays for a less superior team in comparison to Leicester, because nobody really expects anything from Aston Villa, right? But Leicester City is up there now, so I feel like, but now I think people are gonna respect Madison now. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I still the vibes at Leicester and in the Prem, it's gonna be the general thing, right? Vardy is still gonna be the main man. The old guard always tends to grab the headlines, even when they're playing well, even when they're not playing well. So let's see where Leicester go on from here. Top 4 finish, perhaps.
I think top
striking
4
there,
is
Madison.
very, very
top 4
possible, given how they play
I
and
think
stuff.
top 4 is easy.
My
but
only
I think
worry-
they're challenging for the title.
My only worry is that last season we saw it as well. They burned out towards the end. I mean, they had injuries and suspensions, sure, but they did burn out towards the end. And we just had this talk a few days ago about Leeds burning out, and now they're being found out. I mean, Leicester is still going well, but, can they keep this up for the next 4 or 5 months? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
personally
that's-
hope so, and I personally think so, because I'd like to give Brendan Rodgers more credit than he may have received earlier on.
Yeah.
He did very well with a Liverpool team that almost won the league title. Granted, things fell apart, and we all know what happened, but he has a squad that
I
will
mean,
fight
come
for
on.
him.
Why
don't
why do we
necessarily
hesitate
think-
saying it? Why?
But
I
but
try
it's
to come.
I take the thrill and enjoyment out of
My man
Ali
takes
losing.
pleasure in others' misery. I am not the same. We are not the same, my friend.
I
No, but like
No, if it were
honestly,
anyone else, I'd
even if
understand.
you
But it's
think about
Ali.
that Liverpool team, they were punching above their weight. I mean, that City squad was of a much higher quality than that
That's
Liverpool
true.
squad, and you've got players like Sacco in defense, Flanagan in defense, and you're still aiming for the
At least
Premier
he's so
League.
cool. Colo Torre.
Yes,
Man, I
yes,
swear
yes.
that season. I know I talk a lot about the season, but man, that season Colo Torre was scoring own goals against West Brom. Like man, our defense was Simon Mignolet was shit. Honestly, Liverpool didn't even deserve to win the
All right,
title that season.
Mignolet wasn't that
Let's
bad
be
that
honest.
season.
Okay,
Give
but
him
I,
credit.
I remember Colo Torre ran into the referee against, I think, West
Oh
Brom. It
yeah,
was.
yeah. It was against West
All right,
Brom.
but
Yeah.
Mignolet wasn't bad. I'm not saying he was Allison
pretty
caliber. Listen, you have to be respectful to each player with their own ceilings. I think that was probably
Yeah, that's
Mignolet's top 3 seasons in his career. Okay.
Okay, no, don't get me wrong. He was maybe he got exposed more because of the shitty defense, but
Yeah,
and, like,
that
if I
may be
were to
more of a
defend Mignolet,
reason.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that front three was
if,
something though.
Like we had a better defense. Man, that Sturridge. Nobody talks about Sturridge, but that Sturridge that season. Oh my god.
Just to quickly touch upon that front three. Sorry. I don't think it helped that Suarez got suspended earlier on
First
in the
game.
season. How many matches did he
Yeah.
miss? I
6, I think.
10?
8.
6.
Eight.
The whole ban was 10 games,
Yeah.
I think, in total. So I think it was like
Yeah.
4 and 6 or something. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine
he
the
missed-
number of dropped points and the number of wins you
The
would
effect,
have had
yeah.
if Suarez played all of those games?
I mean, to be
That's
fair, he had
so
no one to
awesome.
blame but himself. Why are you going around and biting
Exactly.
Ivanovic?
Precisely. So, like we mentioned before, it wasn't necessarily that infamous Gerrard slip that cost Liverpool
That's
the
true.
title. It was an accumulation.
I mean,
of things.
ultimately,
there was the
yeah,
Crystal Palace
ultimately-
draw as well. It's an accumulation of things, Yeah, go on, Ali. You said something.
Honestly, like ultimately, it was if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, I would die for Gerrard. I would defend him till the end, but ultimately, the slip was what cost the title. But if you look at it, if you look at the bigger picture, there was a lot of games where Liverpool should have won. For example, Lovren scored against Liverpool. That's the funny part. Against Southampton, they lost 1-0 in the beginning. So like Lovren of all people scored against. So he's been ruining Liverpool's party since the beginning. He ruined our invincible season in 18-19 against City when Aguero shot near post. So Lovren was on in that game. But yeah, that season was tough, man. I actually read this article by James Pierce on the Athletic, and he pretty much talked about Liverpool's like 30-year journey. And honestly, man, Liverpool was just a shambles of a club from like 1990. Ever since like 1990, Liverpool was in a really shitty state of a club. So I mean, they only had like one good season in the league up until like 13-14. That was 08-09.
Yeah.
Before that, they were doing nothing. So like there was issues behind the scenes. There was issues with management. There was issues with money. Like honestly, Steven Gerrard probably should have just gone to Madrid. Like okay, going to Chelsea is a bit of a sneaky move, but he should have probably gone
He
to
deserved better.
Madrid in
He
09.
deserved better.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ali, I don't know if you saw this documentary. It came out once last season finished, and it was like Klopp's promise or something. It came on Sky, and it was about the 30 years or 40 years or whatever it was since Liverpool
I actually
last
didn't
won the
watch
Premier
that.
League. You haven't watched that? No,
Copyright didn't let me watch
it's
it.
done it's so good. You should definitely give it a try. It's all about how Jurgen Klopp came in, I think 2015 it was, and he just completely turned this club around. I mean, it gives you like a little, in the introduction, a little bit of history over the last 30 years, and then it's just about Klopp and how he's changed this Liverpool team.
But just
Yeah,
quickly
even-
to go back. Sorry, Ali, but just quickly to
No,
briefly
go ahead,
back
yeah.
on Brendan Rodgers and Leicester again. This time, though, I don't think that Leicester have players punching above their weight, where he may have had in Liverpool. He has quality players. We cannot deny
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
The likes
for
of
sure.
Ndidi, Soyuncu, Johnny Evans.
No, honestly, like you look at players
looks
like
good, though. Come on,
Madison,
we can't-
Vardy, and Tielemans. These guys are guys who would start for
These
any
guys
of the
are good.
traditional top six.
Exactly.
Honestly,
Top six, exactly.
So they're not necessarily punching above their weight. They're just expressing their qualities. As a wise Jose Mourinho would say, Brendan is simply just letting the horses run, and they're doing a job for him at the top of the table. Just like Madison admitted post-match, let the big teams do their talking. We'll do our own on the field, and I like that. I honestly like that. I mean, as a United fan, I feel under pressure when the media speaks about us in a way where we're kind of entitled to win the league when really we're still progressing. We're still just trying to close the gap between the top two teams. I'm more for what Leicester are going through, you know. They're just slowly rising up the ranks.
So, as a United fan, do you think that if you were to pick one team between United and Leicester of who has a better chance of winning the league, who do you think you would go for?
I still think United have more quality, in my opinion. United have players that have more X factors, if that makes sense. United have more match winners. Leicester don't have a Bruno Fernandes. They don't have a Paul Pogba that can just change a game within minutes, you know. I think, if anything, when I saw us play against Leicester, I still saw a bit of a quality gap between United and Leicester, if anything. I think the Leicester players themselves admitted that they kind of were fortunate to get a point. It was a game United easily should have won if we took our chances. So, you know, and if anything, we saw it last season. United stole the third place position from Leicester, even though they were unfortunate with injuries. But yeah, of course, I still favor United to possibly take the third spot, but our aim should honestly still be just maintaining a top four position until the end of the season and still close the gap between the top two clubs in the Premier League, which are City and Liverpool. With that, I'm okay. I'll be fine. It's still progress in the right direction.
What about your neutrals? What do your neutrals have to say about United or Leicester in the title race? Who do you think has a better shot?
Wait, you're ruling out Fat Frank's Tricky Blues already?
oh no,
Let's
don't
get
even
into
get
that.
me
You
started
have to-
on
let's
this.
get into
Oh my
that.
god,
Exactly.
guys.
The time bomb's been
All in
okay,
due time.
It's
All
time
in
to
due
implode.
time.
For me-
It's about to implode right now, and I want it to happen.
Yes. The build-up is...
It's killing me.
Lampard's tricky Blues have to worry about finishing Europa League first, man.
At this
I
point,
love
I'm more
this
worried
game,
about
baby.
relegation. Honestly, at this point, I'm
Relegation.
more worried about relegation.
Arsenal FC, stand up.
Um,
No way.
worrying signs.
Oh my god.
No.
Nah, that's a little too much, lads.
Yeah, like Ricky said,
Omar.
Only the 230 million spent in the summer.
all right, but
Oh, Omar, do you think that Werner goal should have stood? I think it was onside, man. I think
no, that was awful.
I mean, at this
Come
point,
on,
honestly,
very
I
tight.
couldn't
You don't give a
care
fuck,
less.
but-
Yeah, couldn't care less. We deserve to
That's
lose
what I
7-8-0 today. Like,
Yeah.
my God.
Abdur, what were you gonna say?
I was saying City and Liverpool are in a tier of their own. They're on a class of their own. Then it's everyone else. The quality on the pitch, on paper, is quite evident. Leicester, even though they get the results, they're literally a one-trick pony. They're just going to roll the dice, gonna play fast, counter-attacking football, and that's why they do actually struggle against low block teams. And
Yeah.
that's why they tend to do better against the bigger teams, because the bigger teams also want to get a result. They also
Yeah, that's why they beat City 5-2 as well, right?
Yeah.
Or was it 6-2?
5-2. It was 5-2.
Yeah.
Because City is gonna play the way City is gonna play. At least at the beginning of the season, when Pep hadn't quite adapted to the defensive style that he's playing these days. That's why.
The center back pairing for that game wasn't the greatest as well. I think a little
Yeah.
bit of context is needed. So
Yeah,
I
that
highly
too.
doubt the same result would happen if they were to play, let's say, tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. If they
But-
were to play
Yeah,
today,
exactly. Yeah.
but that's also due
For
to like Guardiola also adapting, like we
yeah.
talked about last time, and just playing to the needs and to his goals rather than his ideology and philosophy. But for Leicester, that's why I don't think a 2016 could be repeated for them so easily.
Oh no chance. No chance.
Just because the increase in quality in these two teams.
Yeah.
United aren't title contenders for me. That's just
They're in
because
the
they
title
don't.
race, but they're not title
Yeah.
contenders. I don't know
For
if that
me-
makes
Wait,
sense.
what's
for
the
me,
difference?
Yeah, that
Race.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That
what's the
100%
difference
makes
between
sense.
that, Ricky?
In the sense that if they keep in the race and just wait for one of the top two teams to keep on slipping up, then they'll have a shout. But I
say that
don't
word,
have them
please.
as
But wouldn't that
favorites,
make them
if that
contenders?
makes sense.
Ali,
I'm
every
saying,
time someone
man,
says the
they're
word
not your
slip, does your
traditional
heart
title
break a little bit?
Oh,
Okay, I just feel like what Ricky's trying to say, and I understand from a United fan's perspective, he just doesn't want heartbreak. He just doesn't want to say, "Oh yes, we can win
Been
it,"
there
and then be
before,
like,
baby,
"Oh,
you
we
know?
lost it." Yeah,
Don't want to put
I-
all of my eggs in one basket.
for sure.
Gotta put
I
some in
think
the FA
it's-
Cup. Gotta put some in the Europa League. You know.
Europa League might be a good shout.
Nah.
Omar,
With the way
Lampard
AC
out?
Milan are playing, I'm kind of
or
scared.
not?
I
Should've
would
joined us.
buy a plane ticket to London. I'd drive myself down to Stamford Bridge or Cobham, whatever it is.
Frank!
I don't care where
Come
he moves
outside!
off to. I would actually pack his bags for him. I would put like the car seats for his baby girls inside, and I would shove his family inside and drive them down myself. He needs to leave. Just
Don't-
I'm
What if-
sick and tired of
even if they
this.
finish top 4 this year?
Even
Yes,
even
yes.
if we
Even if they finish top four
even
this
if we
year?
finish top 4 this year, I think Frank.
So,
I've
who
had enough.
who would you have as a replacement? Let's say, would you take Brendan Rodgers as Chelsea manager?
Definitely.
Brendan Rodgers
There were
did
4 or 5
No
names.
brainer.
There were 4 or 5
Oh,
names
shit.
being shouted. Brendan Rodgers was one of them,
Yeah.
and I would happily take him. He's
Yeah.
done an incredible job at Celtic,
He's-
Liverpool, and Leicester. I don't understand why
So
people have their reservations about him. Yeah,
But
He's
will
been there
Brendan
before.
Rodgers take Chelsea?
I mean he does. He was the assistant manager under Mourinho here, so why
Okay,
not?
he
Right?
was the
Exactly.
assistant
He's been
manager,
there
but
before.
right now his team is performing so well. It's top of the
And the
league.
project is
I
promising.
Right.
mean,
He's got
they're
players
playing-
that know him,
no,
trust
they're-
him.
Yeah, no. They're playing good football. They're above Chelsea. A lot above Chelsea. They're first position right now, by the way, after today's game. But I mean, let's be honest. With all due respect to the Vardys, Madisons, Tielemans, I just think that Ziyech, Werner, these are the kind of players like they're
Wait,
a level above those
wait,
players.
Really,
It doesn't
though?
seem to me
Really,
that
though?
Rodgers would come
I
in
mean-
now. It would be more of next year.
next season,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
it would
I
be
mean,
more of
the thing
a
is-
caretaker
The thing
manager.
is, from a Chelsea point of view, if you want to get rid of Frank Lampard because you don't think he's going to lead you to defeat, what's the point of keeping him for the rest of the season? Like, just give another manager enough time to get familiar with the squad, know who he wants to keep in and who he wants to get rid of, It just doesn't make sense for Lampard
Do you
to
think-
stay until the summer.
Do you think Nagelsmann from Leipzig should come in and bring the best out of Werner?
He-
I think that could be another option.
That's an
because-
interesting
Nagelsmann
shout.
was literally
I do not
speaking
want to see
about
that
Werner
happen.
just a couple days
Yeah.
ago and why he's underperforming and how he should be playing more in a central striker role alongside a big target man rather than out on the wing or as today on the bench. I think
Sounds to me like
Nagelsmann.
a job interview.
No, but like seriously though, don't you guys think like he makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense? Like why
When
is
Werner
Werner
came
playing
on
out on the
today-
left?
No, Werner came on today. He was playing more centrally today. Maybe
And
Frank,
he's-
and he
maybe
got a chance.
maybe Lampard
He
heard
got a
that
chance to
interview.
score a
I don't
goal.
know, but I thought he looked much better than his previous games.
Yeah.
Maybe
He looked okay.
Yeah, he
being
looked good
benched
today.
has also taken the spotlight off him a little bit more, given him room to
Possibly, yeah.
just play a bit part role. But today Werner looked good. Even at the end, I think around the 80th minute. No, for me, like comparing him to the couple games that he's had, not couple games.
Yeah,
the
no,
handful
for
games
sure.
that he's had this year. He actually, I think it was like around the 80th minute. He was pressing high. He got the ball off, went past the defender. I mean, given the fact that he just Torres that one chance last game 1-on-1, I felt like he looked much better this game.
He
But
was
he
a
didn't
lot
really
better.
necessarily set a high standard for himself, though. From
That's
his last
true.
few games, right?
Also, like,
Man, honestly,
it's important
yeah,
to
yeah.
remember that he came off the bench this time against a tired Leicester team who had just played a few days ago as well, Whereas the week before, everyone had like a week off, everyone was fresh, so there's that as well. But I do think Werner did a lot better.
I know. I understand.
Their performances are
Man, it's
very
fine.
similar.
It's fine. Take a dive deep into the past. The
Man, the
nostalgia
nostalgia.
crush. It's fine.
You
Torres.
know when
It's fine.
when
man.
Ferran Torres scores for City and the commentator says Torres. Oh, the nostalgia. Oh baby. Oh man. I swear, man. But man, realistically, here's what I think about strikers going to Chelsea, right? Like quick strikers going to Chelsea. Chelsea is just not the right club for quick strikers, in my opinion.
What do they
I
mean?
think they're just better off with.
I can't say it.
I was about to say something very inappropriate.
say it,
I shouldn't,
Wrong.
but pretty much like
It.
pretty much target
Four
man.
words.
No.
Pretty much target man.
Context
To
is
put it
important,
nicely.
Ali. What do you?
Tall, strong.
Of a
you know,
particular
Well, there was-
palette.
There was
palette.
a tall, strong striker playing today. Our favorite
Tammy Abraham.
Did Giroud fit that, or-
Bukambo Abraham.
I mean,
And-
I
love
think,
that
I
guy.
think I think Abraham is still too clumsy, man.
Oh my God,
Like,
Tammy
Giroud
Abraham!
is
Don't
still-
even get me started, man. Did you see that? Did you see that disaster class? He was taking first touch,
He's so
which were
shit.
worse than Lukaku's. I kid you not. Wallahi, as God is my witness. This guy needs to get out of my club. He was in the championship with Aston Villa, and that's where he belongs. Not with Aston Villa in the top half of the table. I mean the
don't say
championship.
that.
Like, he had that run like for 3 months where he scored 10 goals like last season in the beginning, and
Last
since then
season.
we've seen a
Yeah.
championship player. Honestly, maybe not even that. League One with what's their name,
Man, but the-
Exeter or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Man, but in,
the English League one.
in Abraham's. Yeah, but in Abraham's defense, like Lampard was playing a different style of football last year because he had youngsters only. So Abraham was like the main guy, Now you've got Werner, you've got Havertz, you've got
Shouldn't that
you've
just
got
make
all
him
these
play
people, so I
better?
don't think
He's playing with more quality on the pitch.
I mean,
Every time we say,
Exactly.
"Oh,
yeah,
this,"
but realistically,
every time we say, "Oh, this star player isn't performing," oh, that's because he's playing with bums. So why is it
yeah,
with Kevin
so-
or sorry, Tammy? Is it the other way around?
Like there
I
there's
just don't think he's
certain
getting-
there are certain things you can fault Lampard for, like his playing style and stuff. But when Tammy Abraham is 40 yards away from goal, taking a touch towards his own goal, and it goes 10 yards away,
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
fault Lampard for that. That's just Tammy Abraham and his number 9 shirt or his number 9 IQ. I don't know, but whatever the hell that was, I'm just done.
Lukaku reincarnated.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's
Well, yeah. What were your thoughts on Havertz's performance? I think, in my opinion, he had a decent game.
he had
played better than
glimpses
he's
of
been
what
playing.
of his
Yeah.
quality. I think there was a
Yeah.
time where he was under pressure and he was still able to lob the ball to Pulisic that eventually led. To
Oh,
the
oh,
opportunity.
and
It's those
Exactly.
which-
little
Free kick.
touches,
Wait, say that again.
Say
Your
that
voice
again, Umar.
disappeared.
Sorry, I think you broke off, lad.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, that was a great move. Which then Hudson-Odoi had 3 players on Chelsea players on his left, two
yeah,
Leicester
he just crossed,
defenders,
yeah.
and he still put the ball out for a goal kick. Do you remember that? Because I do.
Chilwell was
I
open.
remember
Chilwell was,
that.
Chilwell was
Chilwell was
open.
open for
Tammy
left.
had dragged in
Yeah.
both the defenders, and Hudson-Odoi puts it for
Exactly.
a goal kick.
Yeah.
That was a very Marcus Rashford
I mean,
moment from him. It was very
if he gets
indecisive.
that on target, it's probably a goal.
Exactly.
Because Schmeichel was beaten.
Exactly.
So
E-
it's
every
ifs and buts, but
no. But like seriously, every single person was expecting like either a cutback or a shot across goal because that's the
yeah.
more
Logical
sensical.
thing to do.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's the thing to do. And yet Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's out here being compared to Phil Foden and Jadon Sancho, with his I don't even know what he offers. If you guys see him,
He's
right?
not even better than Saka.
Saka, no,
He's not even better than Bukayo
no,
Saka.
never mind Saka. I think Emil Smith Rowe, whatever his name is, probably like levels clear of this guy.
He's pretty
The first
He's
thing
been
that
playing
comes
really
into
well.
his mind
Put some respect
is to
on
walk
Smith
to-
Rowe's name.
the first thought whenever Hudson-Odoi gets the ball is to run towards his own goal. Like, are you dumb? Are you actually dumb? Did your mom not like send you to school or something?
Stop.
No, I'm serious.
But Umar, wait. In his defense, Chelsea
one
posted that
second.
pass he made against Fulham. Remember that laser that
Okay,
signal pass
no.
that was like a Beckham-esque. Come on, man. I
If
don't know
he's- if
anybody
he's-
else in Chelsea that can do that pass, bro.
If his mom did send him to school, right, and he's running towards his own goal, what if he just came back home?
Stop.
Nah, if he went to school, he would have learned that three
though.
crocodile eats instead of the two. He would have passed the ball across, you know? Oh my god.
All right, but in all seriousness, he was rested last game, and Frank Lampard's comments were like, he's being prepared for Leicester City. You know, as if he was Cristiano Ronaldo. That guy doesn't have a starting
Listen.
spot. That guy doesn't have
My
a
man's
starting
hot
spot.
property.
He's young.
Listen, my man's hot property.
That's fine. He's young, but
Bayern wanted him. Bayern wanted him over Serge Gnabry and Leroy Sané, bro. Come on.
I'm pretty sure the consensus amongst most sane Chelsea
You know what
fans
happened?
after today's game would be like,
What
take
happened?
him.
Yeah. You know what happened?
The Bayern scouting network took one good look at him and they're like, actually, you know what?
What's his name? Hansi Flick. He went to FIFA 17
Yeah,
career mode, put on the search bar Premier League, England, left wingers, age bars from like 16 to like 20, and then just press triangle. And whatever he got, he said, okay, let's go get that. That's all. That's the only reason he went for Callum Hudson-Odoi, because I
I
don't
want to
know.
increase the diversity within our squad, lads. We need more English speaker. Okay, but I just want to briefly touch upon Chelsea's defense, though. Would you not say that some of the goals you guys conceded tonight were somewhat avoidable, especially the second one? Listen, I'm not a football expert by any means, but I know that it is absolutely criminal to allow the ball to bounce in your own box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a disgrace,
It
yeah.
bounced and they just landed so easily for
What was
Madison.
Rudiger doing, man? What the
I
hell
don't-
was Rudiger doing?
I don't know if that was miscommunication. I don't know if that was being out of position, but whatever it was disgraceful.
You know what the funny thing is? Rudiger had a falling out with Lampard earlier this season, and Lampard apparently told him, "You're not going to be playing." And
No way.
Tomori,
Was to
the
be
young
sold.
English lad who actually didn't do too bad last season, who was expected to
Man,
be playing this
Tomori's
season.
good.
Yeah, he is. He's decent. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He has not played after that Liverpool game when he came on at halftime, I think, the 2-0. And Rudiger, for some reason, is back in the starting 11. And now Tomori's on his way out to Milan. So,
Yeah, he's going to Milan. Let's get on topic for a second. I think we have to give credit to Leicester and their
We did.
their recruiting power. Their ability to replace players.
Yeah.
They lost Chilwell. They signed Castagna from the Italian league. He's been solid. They've got this guy called James Justin who's been solid.
Yeah, this guy looks like a
Fofana,
tank.
guys, Fofana is so good.
he's a
Have you
tank.
guys seen
Yeah.
Fofana play? Their
He's that center back.
He's
bro.
not
He's
even.
so
He's
good.
not even the
French too.
biggest guy. He's actually like pretty average
Yeah, he's
size,
short.
but
He's like
He's
5'10".
actually
he
not
he
even
wins
less
every.
than average.
Yeah, he wins every header. It's crazy, honestly.
He's fast. He's fast. He's good in the air. He's good on the ball, man. Leicester's got to steal from that, man.
It's okay. He's not going to be in Leicester for a long time. Don't worry.
Yeah, United will come in for 100 million for him, and then he'll be shittier.
Alongside Eric, it depends if he's alongside Eric Bailly or not to hold his hand.
Maybe, who knows?
Oh God, no. But guys, please, I want to continue the meltdown of Chelsea.
All right, which player do you want to
Let's
speak
get back
about?
Okay, you know what, Omar? Rate all the 11 players that were playing today out of 10, and players that came off the
Okay.
bench.
Wait, before we get on that, I just want to read an interesting tweet that I sent earlier before we started. It was from this guy that I follow on Twitter. He makes some interesting arguments, so it's going to be a little bit analytical past this point. His Twitter name is Adroit Cadet. Adroit, shout out. And what he mentioned was, if you take a look at Lampard's midfielders, right, their profile, none of them fit like the defensive midfielder profile of a Makelele, of a Matic, those of which you needed to win a Premier League. Kante is out of form. And the interesting thing is, he didn't spend money on a defensive midfielder when maybe he should have. He cashed in on players that were really similar to the profile he had as a player. Explosive, attacking, capable of scoring goals and assisting. So should Chelsea I don't know if Lampard will obviously be given a chance, but should Chelsea possibly cash in on a defensive midfielder, and if so, which one?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this, and there has been for the past 2 seasons. There's one name which is always thrown around, Declan Rice, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, Chelsea will get him. He's been twerking for a move to Chelsea for like a long time, honestly.
It's so annoying.
He's a childhood Chelsea fan. He played here for his youth career or whatever until he was let go.
Good
And
friends with Mason Mount, right?
best friends with Mason Mount,
Good friends with
exactly. And to be honest,
Who are you
It's
guys
written
talking
in the
about? I'm sorry.
stars.
I genuinely think he would have come to Chelsea this summer if we hadn't already had spent so much money on other signings. With
Who are you guys talking
Declan
about?
Rice.
Declan Rice. From
Oh,
West Ham.
Declan Rice. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
He's good.
He's
I
a
like
solid
him.
player.
I like
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. He's a good player.
I like him. Yeah, he's good.
I mean, he's very solid. Personally, I mean, I can get on to this whole other thing about whether we actually need him or do we actually have someone already in Ethan Ampadu who can fill in that role. But that's a whole lot different story. But I do think Lampard will be given a chance. I do think he will last the whole season, and I do think Chelsea will get his targets, his Declan Rice, and probably like a number 9 as well.
So do you reckon he'll be given another season then to right his wrongs if Chelsea do not improve upon this form? Yeah.
For sure.
That'll be interesting, man.
After today's game, Lampard in the interview said, "My job's the pressure has intensified over the past few games." And rightfully so. No, rightfully so, because after match week
should.
11, Chelsea were first in the league. And in the last 8 games, they have lost 5 out of 8. That's 7 points out of the last 24? And now they're 10th or 9th or whatever, 2 points above relegation fodder's Arsenal. So it's no surprise that, he's coming under pressure. I do expect him to keep the job, even if Chelsea do fall even further down the table. Just simply given the fact that, he's a legend at the club, he's got the connections, and finally, like, he's like the young protege or whatever.
And I think to his credit as well, sorry Umar, just to quickly add, I think to his credit as well, he did kind of steady the ship when you guys were on a transfer ban for a while.
For sure.
Which is so weird, man. Chelsea played really great football last season. I don't understand why he can't implement that with better world-class players. It's just interesting, this whole Chelsea situation that they've got going on, man.
There's a really interesting quote that I want to bring up right now. In 2012, when Villas-Boas got sacked from Chelsea, and Frank Lampard said, "I don't think the players had much to do with him leaving. It was more to do with he was not ready to fill in the shoes. Maybe he came to Chelsea too early in his career, and he wasn't ready for such a big job." Those were his
Yikes.
something similar Like,
life comes at you fast.
oh my god.
Modern
They
day,
get your
in modern
point.
day
I get
football, nowadays, managers aren't always making the call. And they still seem to
Yeah.
give the impression that they're the ones in charge, especially of transfers. In sub clubs, it's more transparent. Like for example, in Real Madrid, in Barcelona, coaches request that, oh, I would like a player like this, or I would like this player. They have an infrastructure, and then they go out and get it. Okay, they go out and get that player. This has been the
Yeah.
case in Serie A for the longest time, because that's how they've always worked with. They have a very good infrastructure within the clubs. A lot of former football players and legends of those clubs go and play. Like for example, Maldini right now at Milan, he's actually been credited for so much of their resurrection. Now, English clubs are also following that. So, how much did Lampard have to do with recruiting all of these German talents? Like, surely, like, even for me, I was like, why is Lampard recruiting 2 center attacking midfielders whilst he has Mason Mount? You know, even someone who plays Ultimate
I was
Team,
so
like
about to
any
say that.
any guy
Yeah.
with like 2 digits IQs, right? He's just gonna be like what? Why is he recruiting similar players?
No, I do know what happened about that. Before last season, when the very first lockdown in March or February went down, just before that, Lampard with the technical advisor Petr Cech flew to Germany and held 2 meetings with Kai Havertz. Czech was the German translator. That guy speaks like 9 languages or
wow.
something. I don't know, but yes,
What a guy.
that's how they convinced Havertz to join. Havertz was being advised to wait a year and wait for Real Madrid or Barcelona to come in next season because of all the financial issues this summer with COVID and all the Barcelona tax frauds or whatever. I don't know, but basically, these guys went and convinced him, no, Chelsea's the right move for you. So, and I do definitely think that he's right, Abdurrahman, in the sense that Italian clubs have been doing, even if we speak about the Tomori deal that's going on right now. Maldini has had a huge say in that. He's the one who's gone out for him, he's trying to get him. So, yeah,
Potential English.
I think at Chelsea specifically, are we going to confuse him for someone or no?
only Maldini. The
I'm
way
talking
he
about
plays.
Maldini, of course. Like at Chelsea over the years, we can say that the managers have not had much of a say in transfers. Ancelotti, for example, with Torres, that was like the main one.
Abdurrahman
Di
Baba
Matteo
with,
lost his job at Chelsea.
Wait, sorry to interrupt you. Wasn't Torres in Abramovich?
Yeah, he was. He was only an Abramovich signing. Ancelotti did not want him. He still signed him, and then he didn't work out. Di Matteo lost his job because he didn't play Torres as a striker in that away game in the Champions League against Juventus, which Chelsea lost 3-0, which was like a must-win game.
Yeah.
So over the years, we've seen, signings which the managers have not, wanted. I think since Sarri has come in 2018 was the first time that managers have been backed. Well, first manager after Lampard, before Lampard, sorry. With Jorginho, his boy, coming from Napoli, as well as, the Kepa signing, don't even get me started.
Well,
It was supposed to be Alisson, but because of that snake, the tall, lanky snake, we ended up with Kepa and not Alisson, thanks to that guy. But yeah,
Man, Kepa was decent when
he was the
first season.
Kepa
It
was
had a
the
good
first season.
Yeah.
The first season, he was unreal.
He was great.
I don't know what the hell happened to him.
I mean, his
De Gea vibes.
his T-Rex hands came into play. I mean, what else was there? He got exposed for those.
I mean,
It's unfortunate, to
Him-
be honest, man. It's unfortunate.
him and De Gea have had opposite careers. De Gea started off shaky, and he went on to become one of the best keepers in the world. Kepa started off well, and he fell off like no tomorrow.
It's so sad.
Man's a better Adrian.
Now, imagine if you're the Spanish national team manager. What the hell do you do?
Ask Victor Valdez to come out of
I mean,
retirement.
man, Spain has so many keepers. Oh, Middlesbrough legend.
How is he?
United
How is
legend.
he bald and then grows hair in Middlesbrough? I don't even understand.
It's the
I
English
completely
waters,
forgot
you
the
know.
blue hair.
And man, he has nice hair, man.
Why would he ever go
Man,
bald?
he
His
has-
hair's great.
Man, his
Bald
hair's
by
so
choice.
nice. Why would you go bald, man? What the hell?
Do you guys think he got a
Man, like, that
transplant?
pissed me
No,
off,
no,
man.
he's bald by choice. He always had.
Why though?
You
I
can
don't
tell
understand
he's
the
need
always
for
had a
it.
hairline.
He always
Yeah,
had
he was
great
bald by
hair.
choice.
Great hairline. Very, very on point.
Man, that's like a hot girl wanting you, but you're being like, nah, you know what? It's fine. I don't want you. Same comparison.
The hot girl in question
That's
is her
a question
is
for
her
us
middle
from
name
extreme-
Ali.
experience,
Ali, isn't
I'm
that
assuming.
you? Ali, when are you going
Let's not bring
bald?
that back, please.
Please, that phase is
Ah,
over.
Soon. In like 2 years. The next Pep Guardiola, you know?
Well, if you continue as the two halves, you know, and you love what
God.
you're doing, then you don't go bald.
Yep. No tension, no stress, no girls to ruin your life, you know?
Wait, just to quickly go back on Chelsea, who are their next few games? If I can just ask Umar if you have any idea, because I just want to have an idea. I just want to know how many points can they possibly pick up from their next few games.
Okay, so let me just. The next game they have is in the FA Cup, but in terms of Premier League, next game is Wolves, so that's a defeat right there. The game after that is Burnley, another defeat right there. The next
Wait,
game
what?
is Tottenham, another defeat right there. So that's 3 defeats coming in a row.
Love it.
Um,
I love it.
okay.
I need it.
Okay, so like on a serious note, I think the Burnley
I
game is
yearn
something
for
we
it.
can get like out from.
Let's
Like
do
we
some
can get
live.
3 points. But Tottenham and Wolves, I have zero
You
expectations.
guys have
Those
good
are
quality.
those are
Even
2
against
defeats right
Wolves,
there. I
they've-
mean,
they've not been playing
settled.
particularly well, so not even a draw there.
They weren't.
but Wolves,
They weren't playing well before they.
They
faced
haven't
yeah,
been-
Chelsea, you know?
yeah,
the-
they weren't playing well
Yeah.
before they faced Chelsea, and they still won. So
Well, but Chelsea were
Um,
playing well back then, so
let's not talk about the future games, guys. This is just depressing me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm plenty depressed already today. I haven't even gotten the whole today's game out of my system yet, and you're already getting me worried about the next few
Omar,
games.
Omar, don't worry. When you wake up tomorrow, you're gonna think more logically. You know why? Because you know how I said Liverpool winning the title is hopeless now. Man,
It's
I looked
not.
I stared at the table for a good 10, 15
Dude,
minutes.
it's
before I
everything
went
is
to
so
sleep
tight. Honestly,
because
okay.
I have no one to
sorry,
talk
sorry,
to.
Ali.
man.
Sorry, Ali.
Yeah, you're right.
Before
Yeah,
you
it
continue,
is
before
tight.
you,
Yeah,
before
go
you
ahead.
continue, Ali, I know all of us United fans are on a massive high right now, but let's say if United lose 2 games in a row, the Premier League changes completely.
not even lose,
Exactly,
It's
just
exactly.
draw.
It's blown completely wide open. Exactly.
Yeah, even if you
Everybody
draw.
needs to maintain a high level of consistency. The only ones I'm seeing, the only 2 teams that have been doing it so far seem
Leicester
to
and
be
City.
Leicester City, United. You know, it's just all about consistency so far. Quality is thrown out of the window. You have man like Thiago falling down while Fat Shaw is running past him, man. What am I?
Okay, Thiago had a great game that
That's
day.
that's
allowed.
fine.
did,
But
he
I'm
did, he
just
did,
wondering
but
what
just
they're
seeing him
starting
fall
to put
down
in Big
as
Macs
Luke Shaw
these
just
days.
fakes inside. I'm like, my man,
My
you
man
won the
Luke Shaw
Champions
turned
League
into a
last season.
B10
How are you
Gareth
letting
Bale,
this
man.
fat man go through you? But obviously Luke Shaw, he had a man of the match performance. So
Yeah, Luke Shaw was great.
yeah, he was great.
But man, like Liverpool, my heart says that we're out of the title race, but logically, we're only 4 points off the top. 4 points is nothing.
With a game in hand, right?
Yeah.
More than enough quality to cover
I don't
it.
know, man.
With a game in hand as well. And
Yeah,
Van
we
Dijk
play
is
Burnley
coming
on
back,
Thursday, man.
isn't he? Is Van Dijk not going to be back?
At
Probably
the end of
like
the season,
if they
I
reach
think
the
at the end of
Champions
the
League
season.
final.
I'm not sure exactly
It's
when, but
fine.
he
You have
looks
Henderson at the
looks in
back.
good
You have
shape.
captain.
Captain, leader, legend runs around like a headless chicken.
Yeah,
Jordan
Football
Henderson.
Writers Awards Player of the Year. Last year, no one wanted to watch the Premier League after March.
Oh, yeah, I think he's gone.
Spot on, as usual. Chef's kiss. On
All right,
point.
Ricky and Uber, final thoughts?
My final thoughts are basically, let's just see where the Premier League goes from here. It's going to be really exciting. Whoever wins deserves it because they've been consistent from the get-go. Chelsea, obviously, they're still struggling with the problems they had from the last few games. Let's see if Lampard can steady the ship for a few run of games. They have, a tough few fixtures coming up. So let's see how they prepare for that. Liverpool are definitely not out of the title race. They've just had a bit of a blip. Their forwards are a bigger problem than their defense, ironically enough. They've not been conceding goals, but they've been failing to score them. So the chemistry between the front three needs to be possibly taken a look at once more, or maybe, just put Origi in or something. I don't know, man. Change something. You
No,
never know, honestly,
wow.
sometimes.
No.
He's
He
a club
is.
legend. What are you talking about, man? Statue being built
He's
outside
a-
of Anfield. That second goal against Spurs in the final has cemented his
what a
place in the
finish.
Liverpool history books, man. Oh
finish.
God.
Good
But
times, good
yeah,
times.
those are my closing remarks. So interesting league ahead of us, guys. I'm very excited.
Omar, any final thoughts?
Oh my God. I'm just, man. Mendy is ass. James is
No,
ass.
it's not.
Thiago Silva should
No,
be in a retirement
not,
home at this
come on.
point. Rudiger, just get him out of the club. Honestly, I'm so
my
done.
God, no.
You know,
Send him
you
to
know,
AC
during,
Milan.
you know, during the game today, the commentator said, Chilwell is homesick. He's home, but he's sick of what's happening. And that is beautiful, man. Peter Drury never misses. He never misses.
Peter
Bars.
Drury masterclass.
Bars.
Honestly.
Oh, my man.
Peter
spinning,
Shitty, you know? Slim Peter, you know?
rolling in the studio. Homesick.
Like,
Oh, God.
I do want to praise one player, Mason Mount. He is the only player out there. You know what? We keep saying Frankie's boy for all of that. He has been by far
Chelsea's
our
boy.
best player this season, and today he was the only
rate
player
him.
turning up, as he has been for the past few games actually. He can have like his head held high, but the rest of these boys, they need to look at themselves honestly. Just disgrace after disgrace after disgrace. Man, Reece James and Rudiger, don't even get me started on the second goal, you know. I'm sorry, boys, you were talking about ending it, but we are far from the end.
I want you to
yeah,
start
no,
on the second
we
goal.
are far from the end. I don't know where this talk came from ending this. I don't care if you guys have to go to bed. It's like
yes, go on,
3:19
son,
a.m.,
go
but I'm
on.
keeping you guys up. That second goal, I don't know. Okay,
Go
first of
on,
all,
son.
the guy who played the ball into Vardy, I think it was Tielemans. I'm not sure. There's not a single player in the Chelsea squad who
It
can
was a
pick up
hopeful
that.
ball in. It was an inshallah.
It was
lob.
inshallah lob. Vardy just took out Rudiger with that run. And Rudiger, with his all two brain cells, is just running and running back and running back and running away from the ball. And then the ball comes and he just ducks and he just leaves it to go behind. And as this is happening, Reece James is on the other end. And Reece James is just standing there watching Madison walk by like, you know what? I feel like a proud dad giving away the
Let's have a
bride.
shot, Madison. Chelsea, man, it's interesting. The hype before the season began, where they are now. I clearly remembered at one point in the group chat you were talking about how excited you were before the season started.
Nah, man, just kill me already. Just kill me already. I've had enough.
It's okay, Omar. I thought we were going to smash Villa and we lost 7-2.
Oh,
I still can't believe that happened.
come on, man. I mean,
Shit happens.
On the same day, you were giving me heat on when United got
Oh my
spanked
God,
by
man!
Spurs.
That day I
You
was
know
so
what's-
happy. Yes, United L.
what a
Come
difference.
on, I was so happy. I was like, yes, we have Villa next.
Dude.
United fans are finito. Next thing you know, fucking Villa scoring 4 deflected shots. Freaking Ollie Watkins. Who the hell is? Oh my God, man!
Okay.
man,
Bollocks. It was
no,
fucking
and like
shocking. And the
Ollie
scouts
Watkins
it.
looks like the kind of player who was on his way to school, and Dean Smith just saw him walking down the road, and he's like, "Hey, I need a striker. You're down for it?"
Yeah.
fancy.
Exactly.
I found.
Fucking shocking.
Umar is sending a
As a
lot of
scout.
football players to
Guys,
school
guys.
today.
There's this Liverpool YouTuber, right? I don't know what his name was.
James Redmond.
I think so. I don't know. He's bald. Do you know him? There's this.
Oh no.
I know what you're talking. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yo, link me afterwards.
Dude, I will. So basically, right, he was giving United so much stick, right? And as United kept conceding, he would keep on saying, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he was like, United, and then came the Liverpool Aston Villa game. You could slowly see him get more depressed as each goal
No.
came in, man.
No. You know what the funny thing is? After I think they went 2 goals down, he
Yeah.
said, "Well, at least we're not conceding 6."
yeah.
Life comes at you fast, boys.
Dude,
Never
his
chat
face
shit.
when the 7th goal went in. Oh, it was too good. It was too good. I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna link it in the description below.
Yeah, link me.
And I'm gonna send it to you later, Ali. It's too good, bro. Shout out to that guy, man. Once I find out who he is again, we'll leave it in the description. But yeah, that was a great video. Amazing stuff. Brilliant.
All right, boys.
Should we end it here, lads? Because I see Abdurrahman is in.
Guys, it's fine for me. It is fine for me. I don't know if you can hear me, but
Omar, I hope you feel better after pouring your heart out to us.
Personally, I like it when we all come in a depressed state.
especially when
It
Umar
creates
comes
great
in a depressed state.
content. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks everyone, and please give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and join us next time for the next half.